Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marcus Green. I'm a senior developer for Titus Learning. We're based in Yorkshire, and I've been using Moodle since around about 2003, both as 12 years as a teacher and then as a developer for a university, and that includes a stint at Moodle HQ, and now I'm very pleased to be working for Titus Learning. And I'm going to present today a case study on the work that we've done for Nord Anglia. So, who are Nord Anglia? Nord Anglia are a global provider of international schools. They've got 54 schools in 24 countries, and they employ over 8,000 people, and they educate more than 49,000 students. So they're quite substantial. Who are Titus Learning? Founded in 2013 by Sebastian Francis, who is sitting just there at the front, if you'd like to speak to him after this, and Mike Bennett. And we are certified Moodle partners for the UK and Hong Kong, and we work with clients in 17 different countries, and we were the BET Awards finalists for Exporter of the Year 2017, and those are some of our prizes that we've won with those logos there in the past and associations we have. So, why did this organisation, Nord Anglia, choose Moodle? Well, the overwhelming reason, and quite compelling, is they were already using Moodle. However, they wanted to add some additional visual appeal to it, and they had some custom development that they wanted, and we were delighted when they engaged Titus to do that. So, their main requirements. Bold on the word no. I said no modifications to core Moodle. And I've supported extensively modified core Moodle installations. And frankly, when it comes to upgrade time, it's a bit of a nightmare. Okay? They wanted a custom theme to reflect their branding, and it was important that it would work on mobile devices, i.e. that it should be responsive and resized to different size screens. So this is one of the main components, as we call it, the title dashboard, TL dashboard. And if it was going to have a motto, it didn't until yesterday, but I would give it the motto, know where you are. And as you can see, it's this grid of tiles, and the tiles relate to some of the important areas of your progress through the Moodle journey. And you can see there we've got a tile for your badges and your likes, your discussions, your posts. It's a high-level view of what you've been doing in Moodle. And in the top right-hand corner, we've got My Course Progress. And this is two tile spaces into one because this is really important. So it gives you a glance access to your key data, and it was important that this should be student-centered and not course-centered. And you know that Moodle historically has been very course-centered, and if you're trying to recall what you've done, you have to jump between different courses. And it was designed to give prominence to frequently used and important sections. So the progress there is at the top, or above the fold, as they say in newspaper design. It needed to be a configurable alternative to the Moodle dashboard, which is lovely, but we wanted to give them the alternative. In other words, they could either have this as their dashboard or the Moodle dashboard. It needed to be extensible by developers with further tiles, and to have user configurable options so that the user could decide what it is they would see. So, going to do, done, and doing. So it's what you've done, what you're currently doing, and what you've yet to start. And if you click on that tile at the top there, it takes you through, like all these tiles, to a summary. So this is a summary of My Course Progress, doing, done, to do. So this student has got 2 courses in progress. This takes advantage of the course completion API in Moodle. Yet to be started, and you completed. And they haven't completed any courses yet. And it says there to be started, we've got one course, it's called Software Development, and if you click on the word Software Development, that takes you through to that course. This is what the summary that you see when you click on the Communities forum, and the top part of it there, which is called My Discussions, shows the most recently unread posts in forums, and this taps into the forum tracking API, and below that you've got your latest forum posts, and this would appear for all of the courses that you've been involved in, so you've got this really high-level view of everything you're involved in, rather than having to go into and remember which courses you've been contributing to. And this is the summary of your wall posts. What do I mean by a wall? I will explain. And you can see here that if you made posts on multiple courses, you can see them summarized in this tile. And if you clicked on any one of these items there, it would take you through to the wall where you made these posts. So, this is the wall, ladies and gentlemen, TL wall. And this sample here is one that I've created, and you can see that things I'm interested in are clearly Moodle and Lions and Megan Trainor, although for me, of course, it's all about the Moodle rather than the base. And this is a standard Moodle activity, and we've got this circle at the top, the red with a plus in it, and that's how you add a new post. So why the wall? That's what it looks like. Why did they want it? They wanted something less intimidating, perhaps less dry than conventional e-learning activities. Oh, I'm so street there without my G on my networking. They wanted more like social networking. They've grown up with that. However, as recent news suggests, it'd be a good idea if that was also controlled. It needed to be flexible and controllable by teachers. So where might you use it? What examples? It's really appropriate for icebreaker activity walls, where students are just starting a course, you want them to get to know each other, and they post images, links to videos on the wall. Another example, I believe that one of our schools has had an inter-school photography contest, and I just want to emphasize, although I'll headline the multimedia capabilities, you can also post textual things, you can just write into it, and you can upload PDFs or docs. You could, for example, run a poetry competition with either your favorite poems or ones you've written yourself. This is an example of embedding the wall in a course. Normally, with a Moodle activity, in order to see the content, you have to click on it to go into that activity. And you can use the wall in that way, but this screenshot is to illustrate that you can get the output, there's a checkbox, and the output from the wall will be embedded in the body of your course. And those arrows say we've got a standard Moodle course with announcements and labels and quiz, and the output is there. And the other arrow is to indicate how keen I am on William Morris patterns, because you can configure it to have its own wallpaper. So each wall could have a different wallpaper, and you can also set it site-wide to have a default wallpaper. So as I was saying, it is controllable. You can configure it to the maximum file size that people upload, just to be a good idea if you don't get a student who tries to upload a 30 gigabyte file. You can configure what kind of video, what kind of multimedia it will take. So you might have something that's all about text, so you might limit it to doc or PDF, and you can configure who gets the email if somebody flags a post as inappropriate, and you can control it to those video sharing sites. So the default, it comes with, it'll show YouTube and or Vimeo videos. It's got a heart for liking. I put a G on that one, a little less street on that occasion. Just like social media, so the more people who click on the heart, the number goes up, and it's got a flag to report posts if people think that a post to the wall is in some way inappropriate. It's tied in with the Moodle badge API, so a teacher can configure a wall so that, for example, as soon as you get post something, they get a badge, they get a badge for if somebody likes their work, and you can set that threshold, and it will they'll get a badge. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that's given you some ideas and inspiration for what can be done with Moodle plugins. I'm Marcus Green. If you've got any questions, please follow us on Twitter, by the way. We've got a microphone to pass around.
Thank you. Well, I've got lots of questions, actually, but I'll give other people a chance first, and maybe some of my questions will be answered there. Barbara, up there.
Thank you. It's just a simple question. If somebody clicks on the flag post, where does that go?
Could you say again, sorry?
If somebody clicks on flag post, where does that go?
Yeah, what happens is if you click on the flag post, you get a dialogue that asks you to enter some text to indicate why they're flagging that post, and the teacher will get a message through the messaging API, which typically can be configured to send an email, so that they know to go and have a look and see if that is in some way inappropriate.
So can the teacher delete that post?
Yes.
Right, and it's the teacher of that course. It doesn't go further up to admin.
No, it's whoever you've configured the email to go to.
You can configure it.
Typically,
Okay.
that would be
The
teacher
teacher
on
of
the
that.
course.
Thank you.
While you're thinking about it, I'll ask one of my questions then. So I saw that you said you can embed it into the course. Is that is it a communal wall then?
It's
In terms of students can each put their own things on it?
yes. If you're enrolled on the course, you can post to that.
Okay.
In fact, we did try embedding it in other activities.
Right.
And if you're comfortable coming up with and then we thought, well, because you've got to come up with a slightly arcane embed string,
Yeah.
and it would be possible
Right.
to create a button for Atto that allowed you to embed it elsewhere.
And does it work on the mobile app? Does it condense itself, or is it just for a web
You did say
version?
mobile app rather than mobile device there, didn't you?
Well, either or, you know. So go on.
Interestingly, well, actually, interestingly, this is developed extensively with Angular. Short answer is no, it doesn't work with the mobile app. It's not a
Right.
mobile application,
Right.
but it was developed with Angular, and the mobile app is based on Angular because I've done some mobile
Right.
development. I'm familiar with it. So with appropriate funding, we'd talk to people about modifying it to work with the app.
But so on smaller devices, it just condenses?
It just condenses,
Right.
yeah. So you end up with, for example, and we've done some tests with this, you end up with one post.
Ah, yeah.
Just a long
yeah.
stream of
like
posts.
blocks
Yeah,
and
so
stuff.
it'll
Okay.
fold itself in.
If there's no other questions, I'd like to ask one.
Then I'll ask my one afterwards.
Okay. So I've been doing a bit of research around accessibility, and one of the things that our students with dyslexia would find very useful is to be able to swap the font Open Dyslexia in. Is it possible for the end user to change things like font, background colour, that type of thing, to make it easier for them to read?
I don't think so. I was one of the developers on it, and that is something I thought about during the development process, and at the moment not, but
I think some browsers have plugins that let you do it, but I just wondered if the theme...
yeah, no, at the moment we don't have the functionality, but we'd be very happy to develop it if anybody's interested in it.
Yeah, just following on from that then, talking about backgrounds, how do you get that, like, William Morris background or a picture background? Do you upload a picture into your post?
What happens is that you can set a site-wide default, so arguably maybe you have your organisation's logo always come up there, and then as a teacher when you're creating the wall, you can go in, choose your tile pattern that you want repeated there, and upload it, and that will be the pattern for that wall.
Right. And can you only have one wall per course, or can you have lots?
You can have multiple walls. You definitely can have multiple embedded walls. You can have many of those as you like. And I can't remember off the top of my head if you can have multiple. I remember having a discussion about can you have multiple embedded walls per course, and I can't give you a definite answer on that.
It's reminds me a bit of like Mahara. You know Mahara and the
I
sort
do
of
know
blocks
Mahara, yes.
like that,
Yeah.
which is really cool, actually. Yeah. Okay.
Have you got any feedback from your client who you developed this for, the Nord Anglia people? Any sort of interesting use that's been happened?
Use cases, examples.
Yeah.
Well,
In
those
this
examples I gave there, I have to confess that I was one of the developers on this, and therefore I thought it was cool, but I haven't sat with students using it. And the examples that they gave were, that's why I mentioned it, they had an inter-school photography contest. I also saw another thing that it was something to do with ballet, and they were uploading images of ballet dancers, but because I was quite taken with the multimedia aspects of it, what I hadn't appreciated was that you can also add a lot of text in there, and they were using it as a... You know, forums are quite nice for exchanging text, but they're quite formalised and sort of hierarchical, whereas that was, it's just all there in one place. And I suspect that you don't want hundreds of thousands of words, but it's really good, particularly in schools where you have a small amount of text, and in the same way that the small amounts of text has made Twitter exciting. I think the idea of a small amount of text and then an associated image, it can be really, really nice.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi there. It was just the last comment there. You were talking about, you know, student success with using something like that. So at Ayrshire College, we've had a bit of success using something similar called Padlet. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. So it was just to let you know that, you know, that's going down really well there. They use it for collaborative work, you know, sharing, putting documents up, photos, just everything you've been kind of mentioning really. But it's working really well. And I was just interested, if you know about Padlet, then what are the benefits of this one over that? Has it got a lot more, you know, functionality or?
Well, I'd say that the key benefit of this is it's based on Moodle APIs. This is an activity. It's kind of odd when you look at the code because I've developed Moodle mods, and this is a Moodle mod. The magic happens where it kicks off the JavaScript, which means it's quite responsive, as in responding quickly. It's tied in with a badges system, so that gives you a common system. You know, if you're using badges, you've not got some external system to link into, and it's got the standard Moodle backup and restore. So if you've got a wall that's really nice, you can back up the course and restore it to a different Moodle or into a different course. And it's Moodle, but prettier than some bits of Moodle.
One of the departments at the college, the beauty department, the students use it as almost a portfolio they can then take with them after they've left college. Yeah. Is that something that's doable with
Yeah, it's not. I've supported Mahara in the past, so I've got some familiarity with the idea of portfolios, and that wasn't what it was primarily developed for, but I can easily see how it's got that capability. And also that there's scope for, if people are interested and they've got the funding, you know, we can develop this thing further. Particularly, I made a reference to it's got some hints of social networking style features, and I can imagine people coming up with things that are a bit social networking like they would like to add to it, and we're open to funding and persuasion.
No? Right. Thank you very much
Thank you very
indeed.
much.
Thank you.
Sebastian, he's your guy to talk to.